had a few questions from you guys asking about how to stop rails from rattling. There's nothing worse than a rattly rail. A thing that I like to do when I'm fitting the rails is use a bit of double-sided sticky tape in a Blue Peter fashion. So bang a bit of this on the back of the rail first. This will then allow you to seat the rail in the correct position, offer it up. Then I can use my steel rule just to make sure I've got clearance so that I can save the graphic so it's just the rails grinding. I have found with these deep concave boards that the rails sit on a bit of a jaunty angle and the edge gets worn away and then you end up losing a little bit of the graphic. I'm not massively adverse to this. A little bit of patina looks pretty cool. But I think the main thing is to get these in position so that they're really nice for grabbing and then let nature take its course. Another thing I like to do is just make sure these holes for the screws are nicely drilled out so that the screws can move freely. I've found that if the screws don't move freely, you end up in a situation where the rail goes up into the air and you don't really get a really good seating right down on the board. So for these screws to work, they need to be able to move freely within these holes. And I like to just remove a bit of material to make sure that happens. So just pop the old double-sided tape on. I'm going to offer this up a little bit. Whack that on the end. Get it square to the edge. And then it's just a case of trimming off the excess. Okay, so that's the double-sided tape on. I just whip this backing off. So another thing I like to do with this before I fit them is just cut out any excess where the screws go. I found in the past that if you don't do this, the tape is pretty sticky and it can get caught in the screw and cause a bit of a ruckus. So whip that out. And this is going to be fairly easy to fit because these overlap the trucks a touch. So I'm going to go for 40mm and then just go for 40mm this end. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then the tape will hold it in place so that when I put my other one on at 40mm, I can just check that I've got good clearance. And as you can see, that ruler is not hitting the graphic at any point. I'm going to put the double-sided tape on this one, and then it'll be a case of screwing those down. Job's a good un. Woohoo! So that's the rails in place with a double-sided tape. Last job is to screw them in. I like to use a drill driver on a really slow setting. I like to put lots of pressure on because with these it's quite easy to over screw them in and they start acting like a screw bit and they just remove all the material and then they're no longer holding the rail down, which is another reason that these rails rattle about. So nice and slow and don't over tighten. Well, that's it, all done. Woohoo! I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe. I make new videos every week. You can also follow me on Instagram, and that is @jonbishopskate. As ever, my name's been John Bishop, and I'm a middle-aged guy tinkering in the back garden shed.